Hey everyone, it's Qcknd, and today I wanted to talk about my tips for how I keep my tattoos bright. I have 3 tips today for everybody just to keep in mind, and tips that I swear by and which I feel like give me a lot of success in keeping my tattoos so bright. So this video will pertain to tattoos that are already healed on your body and have settled in and have been there for like 3 months to a year to 10 years. If you are looking for information on how I like to heal my tattoos when they are fresh, I have a video that I can provide here. It is not about tattoo touch-ups, but if you stay tuned in the next couple weeks, I'm going to have a very special episode of Public Record all about tattoo touch-ups and tattoos over the years that mine that have been touched up and reborn to be beautiful new tattoos. Today's episode of Public Record is just about how I keep my tattoos bright. I have 3 tips, and the first tip I want to talk about, and I feel like is a little unknown to some people, is shaving. Now, if you are a man, a woman, whoever, if you like to shave, if you don't like to shave, this tip I actually got from a guy a couple years ago who would tell me that he would clipper the hair on his arm to keep his tattoos looking brighter. So for me, I like to shave my tattooed arm about once a month. That way I can let all the hair kind of grow back and then really shave it down. So when I like to shave my arms, I use kind of an either wet to dry shaving cream because I feel like it holds a lot of moisture, and as much moisture as you can pack into your arm, the better. I also shave my leg, my tattooed leg, the same way. I don't always shave my other arm just because I don't mind the natural look of the hairy arm. I have nothing against hairy arms, I just think that my tattoos look so much brighter and so much cleaner without any hair. I feel like a hairy surface can sometimes blur the tattoo and all the lines become a little more dusted, a little more faded to the eye. And a clean shaven skin I feel like looks the best for tattoos. I've been doing this for a couple years and I just think that it's perfect. Obviously there are parts of my body that don't really grow a lot of hair. My sternum, my stomach, they don't really need to be shaved, but for kind of hairy parts, my armpits, my leg, my arm, I generally shave these once a month or as often as I allow, and I always love the result. My second bit of advice is staying out of the sun. And I know obviously people can't really do this, so I have a couple tricks that I implement for sun damage. Now, the way that sunburn and tanning affects your skin is the tattoo is underneath the layer of your skin that would receive your sunburn. Melanin is produced whenever you experience a tan, and this will sometimes fade and discolor your tattoos. Even if you only get a little bit of a sunburn here and there, this will change the appearance of your tattoos, especially yellows, greens can become really muddy, and it's just not ideal. Especially long-term exposure, if you work outside, things like that, you need to think about UV protection. And personally for me, I'm the type of person who freckles, and I freckle like crazy. And even my non-tattooed arm is very freckled and damaged and all of this stuff from the sun because I only ever put sunscreen on my tattooed arm. And even then, you can really see that there's a lot of freckles in between here, and the freckles really muddy up the appearance of my tattoos, so I try to put on sunscreen as much as possible. Some of these freckles I've had since birth, so there's not really much I can do, but I do even have a really annoying freckle right here on her eye, which extends her eye, and it's just no good to me, so I like to keep myself as UV protected as possible. Obviously, you have a couple options. Sunscreen is great. I was really digging that spray-on sunscreen all summer, but I realized it was starting to stain my clothes. So I switched to a different alternative, and it is a sunscreen stick. I love the sunscreen stick right here. I keep it in my purse. I keep a couple of them in my purse. I have so many backup and I think it's great. I just take it out and rub it in as if I was rubbing chapstick on my skin, and I just rub all the way up my arm. It's really great, and I haven't experienced any stains, so that's great. And I bought that thing for like $2.99, so that's great. I can keep it in my purse all year round. I can usually feel when I'm becoming sunburn or if I'm overexposed to the sun. If you're familiar with this feeling too, then you know when to apply sunscreen. And for the spray sunscreen, I still do my legs because in the summer my legs are kind of just open and not touching a lot of my clothes. I'll spray both my legs like 10 minutes before I leave the house. Ideally you would do 30, but I leave my spray by the door and that's when I remember to do it. You have a couple other options too, and a lot of these options have been made available for like joggers and sport people, but from sport people to tattooed people, I bring you UV protective clothing. I really like UV protective clothing because, like, especially in the spring where you can still get away with like wearing long sleeves, wearing pants, whatever, but the sun is coming out and everybody's happy and the clouds are clearing from the winter. These are times where you are still susceptible to UV rays, and these UV rays are no good to your tattoo. So I have this UV protective sweatshirt. I got this from Uniqlo. It did not cost more than a normal sweatshirt does, but I know if you look up UV protective clothing, sometimes it can kind of charge you a little bit of money there. So I'm just throwing this on, and I like this sweatshirt even though it's like super mom pink. Hey girls! It even would protect you if you had hand tattoos. I don't know how cool you are with the thumb holes, but this, I feel like, is the ultimate, like, protect me from the sun sweatshirt. I love to just throw this in the car, and if we decide to, like, go to the park or take a walk and I don't have sunscreen, I know I always have my sweatshirt as an alternative. And I also have these UV protective leggings, and they're pretty thin, but what's great about these is I can just throw them under a skirt, again, keep them in the car, throw them on. They're super thin, they don't really add to like the temperature of my clothes. I used to be a lifeguard and I would wear these on the dock all the time just because there's no guarantee that your sunscreen is gonna last as long as you're gonna be outside. You sweat through it, you fall in the water, anything like that. So I would always keep a pair of these with me at the docks. Keep the sun off of your tattoos as much as possible. This will help the longevity. For me, it helps me from freckling and all of these things. Protect yourself from fading and protect yourself from aging. You don't want to be in the sun anyway, so just protect yourself in that way. My final tip for keeping my tattoos bright as possible is moisturizing. And I know this may be obvious, moisturize yourself, drink as much water as possible, but my favorite way to moisturize my tattoo is with essential oils. Any oil-based moisturizer is key. You can go to Whole Foods, you can get jojoba oil, vitamin E oil. Tell me what kind of oils you like to use. These oils, I feel like, bring new life into my tattoos. They saturate it and they give them a sheen, and I think that it's the most beautiful way to make your tattoos stand out and give them new life. Just right here, I'm holding Nourish Organic Argan Face Serum. I just keep this in my filming corner for when I'm about to film on YouTube. I'll just put like a couple squirts of this like oil right there on my tattoos. And I feel like even right now, you can see them come to life. If I'm gonna like take a picture of my tattoos or anything like that, I always use oil moisturizers. There's just something about them that is amazing, and they just light my tattoos up and give them new life. So thanks for watching. Let me know what your tattoo tips are to keep your tattoos bright. This has been foolproof for me, and I know it's kind of like shaving, duh. But until someone told me to shave my tattoos, I had no idea what my potential was. So yeah, let me know, where do you get your UV protective clothing? How do you protect yourself from tattoos? Do you walk around with an umbrella? Give me strength, because I wish I could too. I love you guys. Thanks for supporting Public Record. Stay tuned for the episode in a couple weeks about tattoo touch-ups, and I love you guys. Bye!
Picture of this dude Instagramming